I have never flown a remote control airplane, but this game feels the way I would imagine flying one would feel. Alex and the Jets is an early access augmented reality game on the Quest platform where the concept is simple. You control a squirrel named Alex in his airplane and try to fly through donuts for power-ups and get in dogfights with enemy helicopters, drones, and planes. Alex and the Jets is easy to pick up and play, but it is really hard to master. Turning left and right is always relative to the direction where Alex is facing, and I struggled a lot with trying to get him to move the way I wanted him to. The controls are very smooth and responsive, and the mechanics work very well, but trying to wrap my head around moving Alex based on his perspective took me some serious time to adapt to, and I still don't really have it down. The mixed reality effects of Alex and the Jets are great, as rockets scorch the walls and paint guns leave splatters on the furniture. Alex can bounce off walls and the ceiling without taking damage, but I do feel like this game is much easier to play in larger rooms. You can choose to shrink the assets for smaller areas though, which does help a lot. I suggested fully immersive VR mode for the game, and apparently I wasn't the only one, as they just finally added the full VR mode, which made a huge difference for me, and I finally was able to get the footage I needed for this video. Even though I never really was able to precisely control Alex, I still had fun. The game is easy enough to pick up and play that when I gave my 8-year-old nephew a turn, he was able to understand what to do and how to do it, and probably would have surpassed my skill if he had a little more time with it. The enemies in Alex and the Jets vary a lot in difficulty. The slow helicopters don't offer too much of a challenge, but they do shoot in your direction and do have to be dealt with eventually. Groups of drones can spawn that are faster and will try to collide with you. They don't take much firepower to eliminate, but can be hard to avoid and difficult to hit. When you encounter other squirrels and jets, however, they can be very aggressive. They don't go down easy, they fire at you rapidly, and they usually fly with far more precision than I do. After a few waves of progressive difficulty and having a few dogfights with the enemy of that level, there is a boss fight, and if you are victorious, you move on to the next of 3 main levels until you eventually unlock an infinite survival mode that will spawn the enemies of all 3 levels. Each level has more difficult helicopters and drones, and there is a new enemy that spawns and even another power-up in the later areas of the game. As you fly through the donuts, you gain power-ups like shields, rockets, and health kits, which come in very handy as the game progresses and enemies get more and more difficult. The game never really ends, so you can always attempt to improve your score and performance, and it is a pretty fun game to show off the pass-through of the Quest 3 and 3S to friends and family. Your enemies will sometimes drop coins that you can accumulate to unlock cosmetic skins and hats. It took me quite a few games to earn the sombrero when I first started, but once I started getting the hang of the game, I was making enough coin to unlock a few different skins. Overall, this is a simple game that offers one style of play but does it well. Beating the 3 bosses, once you get the controls down, doesn't really take very long, but it immediately opens up to an endless mode, and there are unlockables to motivate you to continue after you have defeated the bosses. This game is great for people who just want to bring mixed reality into their home while sitting back and relaxing. It won't make you sick, and it is a fun little title for showing off Quest 3 and Quest 3S pass-through. This game is not deep, there's no story or narrative, there is not a lot of variety, and the actual progression through the 3 levels is very short. The mixed reality aspects are very well done if you take the time to properly map your play area. I was a little surprised that the VR mode took place in a room, to be honest, as there was definitely a potential for the game to be in a much more impressive and interesting environment, but it works great. Alex and the Jets is available in early access on Quest 3, 3S, and Pro, and now it's available on the Quest 2 as well, for $8.99, and the link is available in the details of this video. Thank you for watching, and game on.